Mike McCarthy did not mean to say this. In a short conversation about the 2026 season, the new Steelers head coach let something slip that nobody in Pittsburgh was supposed to hear yet. It was one sentence. But that one sentence just confirmed what every Steelers fan has been waiting months to find out. Aaron Rodgers is not done. And now we know exactly why. Let's go back to where this started. When the Pittsburgh Steelers finished the 2025 season, Aaron Rodgers had thrown 24 touchdown passes. Not bad for a 41-year-old quarterback in his first year with a new team. But the season ended without a Super Bowl. And the question everybody kept asking was simple. Does he come back? Rodgers said nothing publicly for months. The Steelers said nothing either. Then Art Rooney II opened his mouth. The Steelers president told reporters that Aaron Rodgers was expected to announce his return to the NFL before the 2026 draft, not after, before. That is a specific detail. That means a decision has already been made behind closed doors, and the announcement is just waiting on timing. But here is where it gets interesting. Art Rooney II does not make that kind of statement unless he already knows the answer. Team presidents do not guess. They do not hint. When Rooney said Rodgers is expected to announce before the draft, he was not speculating. He was reading from a script that Rodgers himself helped write, so the return was already locked in. But nobody knew why Rodgers was so motivated to come back. Until McCarthy talked. Mike McCarthy was hired as the Steelers head coach after the 2025 season. And when reporters asked him about building the 2026 roster, he did not just talk about scheme or free agency. He talked about Aaron Rodgers. He said the two had been speaking regularly. He said Rodgers was highly motivated. He used that word specifically, motivated. That word matters more than it sounds, because here is what you need to understand about Aaron Rodgers. This is a man who sat out the entire 2023 season after tearing his Achilles 4 snaps into his first game with the New York Jets. He came back in 2024 and played a full season for the Jets anyway. Then the Steelers acquired him for 2025, and he threw 24 touchdowns in Pittsburgh. He is now preparing for a 22nd professional season. 22 seasons. Only a handful of quarterbacks in NFL history have ever played that long. And none of them were doing it the way Rodgers is doing it right now. But go back to what McCarthy said. He and Rodgers have been speaking regularly. That is not a normal quarterback-coach relationship in the offseason. That is two people building something. And McCarthy would not be spending that kind of time on the phone with a player who had not already told him he was coming back. McCarthy did not just hint at the return. He confirmed it without saying the word confirmed. That is the leak. Now here is the part that changes the entire story. McCarthy and Rodgers have history together. This is not a new relationship. McCarthy was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers from 2006 to 2018. Rodgers was his quarterback for that entire stretch. Together, they won Super Bowl 45. Together, they built one of the most successful quarterback-coach partnerships in NFL history. Then, it ended badly. McCarthy was fired mid-season in 2018 with a 4-7-1 record, and Rodgers was still on the roster watching it happen. They did not work together again for 7 years. Now they are back in the same building. Same team, same goal. That reunion does not happen by accident. The Steelers did not hire McCarthy without knowing Rodgers was coming back, and Rodgers did not stay motivated through the offseason without knowing McCarthy was going to be his coach. These two decisions are connected. You do not bring McCarthy to Pittsburgh without Rodgers, and you do not bring Rodgers back without McCarthy. The Steelers front office built this thing on purpose. And remember what we said at the top. Art Rooney II already knows the answer. McCarthy has been talking to Rodgers regularly. The announcement is coming before the draft. Here is what that timeline means. The 2026 NFL Draft is in late April. If Rodgers announces before then, the Steelers go into the draft knowing exactly what they have at quarterback. They do not need to spend a first-round pick on a passer. They do not need to plan for a rebuild. They go in as a win-now team with a 22-year veteran under center and a head coach who has a Super Bowl ring with that exact quarterback. Every other team in the AFC will be watching that announcement very closely. Because a Rodgers-McCarthy Steelers team in 2026 is not a project, it is a threat. Rodgers turns 43 during the 2026 season. That number gets thrown around like it means something. Like age automatically makes a quarterback less dangerous. But look at what Tom Brady did at 43. He won the Super Bowl with a new team in his first year in Tampa. Age did not stop Brady. And if you watched Rodgers throw 24 touchdowns in 2025, you know age is not stopping him either. +1. The difference between Rodgers now and Rodgers in Green Bay is not arm strength. It is focus. In Green Bay, Rodgers had tenure, comfort, and security. He had already won a Super Bowl. There were years where it felt like he was coasting on talent alone. In Pittsburgh, none of that exists. He is on a short runway, he knows it, McCarthy knows it, Rooney knows it. That is exactly what makes this dangerous for every other team in the league. So let's bring it back to where we started. Mike McCarthy just leaked the Steelers. Not with a press release, not with an official announcement, but with the way he talked about Aaron Rodgers, with the regularity of their conversations, with the word motivated, with the comfort of a coach who already knows his quarterback is walking back through that door. The announcement is coming before the draft. When it does, the NFL will spend the next 6 months trying to figure out how to stop a 43-year-old quarterback who just reunited with the coach he won a Super Bowl with 15 years ago. The Steelers are not rebuilding. They are loading up, but there is one more thing that nobody is saying out loud yet. McCarthy's offense is built around a quarterback who can process quickly and get the ball out fast. That is exactly how Rodgers operates. In Green Bay, the two of them ran a West Coast system that punished defenses with timing routes, play action, and pre-snap reads. Rodgers was never just reading the defense after the snap. He was solving the puzzle before the ball was even hiked. At 43, that mental speed does not disappear. It gets sharper. Rodgers has been in this league long enough to have seen every coverage, every blitz package, every trick a defensive coordinator can run. The physical tools matter, but the mental edge is what makes him different from every other aging quarterback who tried to keep playing and failed. McCarthy knows this. It is why he is calling regularly. It is why the Steelers built their offseason around the assumption that Rodgers would be under center. They are not waiting on the announcement, they are already planning around it. Now look at the AFC and tell me who stops this. The Kansas City Chiefs are still the standard. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the conference. Nobody is arguing that. But the Chiefs are not unbeatable. They lost games in 2025. Every team does. And if the Steelers build the right roster around Rodgers in 2026, a playoff run is not a dream. It is a realistic target. The Baltimore Ravens have Lamar Jackson. The Buffalo Bills have Josh Allen. The Cincinnati Bengals have Joe Burrow. That is a brutal division. The Steelers know that. Rodgers knows that. And McCarthy, who spent years coaching in the NFC against physical defenses in Green Bay, knows how to build a team that can compete in a tough conference. The Steelers went into 2025 without a proven system at quarterback. Rodgers gave them 24 touchdowns and a foundation. In 2026, with McCarthy running the offense and Rodgers running the huddle, that foundation becomes something real. The window is short. Rodgers is 43. McCarthy is coaching for his legacy after his tenure in Dallas ended without a playoff win. Both of them have something to prove. Both of them are in the same building for the first time in 7 years. And Art Rooney II is standing in front of reporters telling you the announcement is coming before the draft. Go back to the very beginning of this video. Mike McCarthy just leaked the Steelers. One word, motivated, said about a 43-year-old quarterback months before the season starts. That is not normal offseason talk. That is a coach describing a player who has already made his decision and is already preparing like the season starts tomorrow. The announcement is coming. The reunion is real. And the rest of the AFC just got a very loud warning. Aaron Rodgers is not done. Not even close.